I have mine set up. I just set mine and then push my glasses up and down, and it kind of feels it.
Yeah, give us a. Commissioner Boomer. You're on mute.
Me?
No, can't hear you. Anyway, Commissioner Calvin's having trouble getting, signed in. He's on the phone with, Kit and Walter and Mr. Hooven's office. So as soon as that happens, I know, but we're trying to get hold of, Commissioner Mon as well. So we'll be ready to kick off.
But so you all can't hear me?
Can now.
Oh, okay, good. Okay, okay.
We had the same problem. Don't know what that is.
Commissioner Blumer, Commissioner Mullins on his way as well.
Okay.
You're the one on time. That's all right. Okay, I'll be taking care of that. There's something.
Okay. Is everybody there?
Yeah. Hello.
Okay, Paul, Commissioner Mon, are you there?
I think they said he was on his way.
Okay. So I
Yeah,
apologize
Commissioner,
for
he's
my
welcome.
delay. It was a little technical difficulty, but I think I got it worked out.
Commissioner Bond's on his way over
Okay.
right now.
All right,
Here in just a second.
we'll wait.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah, push it. Really? Okay. Yeah, which computer do you have in?
Right here by the.
You're in the middle. Okay. Sorry about this. They just got in.
How we doing?
Okay, are you there?
I am. I'm sorry, guys.
No, no worries. I was a moment late myself. Okay. So I think we can all hear each other, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, very good. Okay, we will go ahead and call this meeting to order. It's a special meeting of the Board of County Commissioners. All three commissioners are present. Notice this meeting was properly posted on April 14th, 2020. Item one would be, I don't think this will be necessary since it'll be a short meeting, but just in case we have technical difficulties and they're not able to be resolved in 30 minutes, is there a time, commissioners, at which you would set to reconvene this meeting? I think it would need to be today because of the nature of one of the items of business.
I'll move we reconvene at 4 p.m.
Okay. So motion is second. We'll call the roll. Commissioner Blumer,
Aye.
Commissioner Mon,
Hi.
and I'll vote aye. Hopefully that won't be necessary. Okay. First item is an item that item 2 would allow us authorize the chairman of the board to sign the certification and the chairman's office to submit the required certification information for receipt of coronavirus relief payments under the Federal CARES Act. This is a application to the U.S. Treasury. And just a bit of history on this. So I think we're all aware of the CARES Act provides for many different types of relief, but one of those parts is for local governments. As some of you may be, I think all three commissioners received an email 10 days to 2 weeks ago from some folks in Fresno County, California, stating that they and we were among 11 or 12 counties in the U.S. that were in this kind of catch-22 situation, and it was not clear that we would be allowed to apply directly for U.S. Treasury funds, and we may have to just accept what came through the state. And I know a number of people in the county were pretty much desiring and preferring that we be able to apply directly. That issue has now been resolved in favor of the counties in our situation, and we are going to be allowed to apply directly. I'd like to thank Senator Inhofe's office and Senator Langford's office in particular that I had reached out to on this, as well as the folks from Fresno County, and spoken with some folks working on behalf of Milwaukee County in Wisconsin. And then my staff and I had a conference call with the White House Office of Intergovernmental Affairs last week. So I'd like to thank all those folks for making this possible. But today is the deadline. And so that's the reason for the calling of the special meeting and this item being on there. And I appreciate commissioners, your willingness to get on this, because this is something that could be of great benefit to the county given the current circumstances. With that, I'd certainly entertain any questions as I'm able, and would call upon some folks. I'd thank also, of course, David Barnes, our emergency management director, as well as Mr. Hooten, the county clerk and his staff, and Mr. Freeman, our county treasurer, and his staff for their great efforts on this as well. Are there any questions?
Mr. Chairman, did Brooks Wright get a hold of you from Senator Langford's office?
He did, yes, a little bit ago, and wanted to underscore that the deadline was coming up, and I did reply to him.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, I just had encouraged him to reach out to you because of your agenda items, so.
Right, he did, yes. So, and Senator Inhofe's office also has been quite helpful. So, are there any other questions?
I do want to point out that Tulsa County had a similar meeting to ours yesterday, and they also voted to approve applying for this direct funding. And we're the only two counties, you might have already said this, but we're the only two counties in the state who are eligible for this direct funding. So, and according to Joe's analysis, we're not submitting for line item certain reimbursements. It's essentially similar to a block grant, correct me if I'm wrong, that we will essentially be eligible for a certain amount of funding based on how many people we're serving.
That's what it appears at this point. It's not clear, I think, if there will be other documentation required from the county, but at this point, this just gets the ball rolling. And as far as we know, I think you're correct, Commissioner, that it would be in the form of just based on the population of the county, and then we would, of course, confer with our county counterparts in terms of how to allocate those funds. Are there further questions?
And if we approve this today, Commissioner Calvi, are you going to be the one that actually goes online and submits it to the Treasury?
Already right. I'm just got to push a button. Yes.
Okay.
Okay. With that, I'll go ahead and make the motion. Is my item. Is there a second?
I will second the motion.
Okay. Are there any further questions or discussion? And we'll call the roll. Commissioner Bloomer?
Aye.
Commissioner Mon?
Aye.
And I'll vote aye. Motion carries. Item 3 is, I think, if Mr. Wilkerson is on the call, I believe.
I am.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Wilkerson. And correct me if I'm wrong, but this is just a companion item to what we approved in the budget board yesterday, correct?
Correct. No changes.
Okay. Is there a motion?
I'll move approval on item 3.
Second.
Okay, we'll call the roll. Commissioner Bloomer?
Aye.
Mr. Mon?
Aye.
And I'll vote aye. And item 4, similarly, Mr. Wilkerson, this is also a companion to an item approved in budget board yesterday, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Is there a motion?
I'll move approval on item 4.
Second.
Okay, we'll call the roll. Commissioner Bloomer?
Aye.
Mr. Mon?
Aye.
And I'll vote aye. Motion carries. Any commissioner comments? Then I will ask for a motion to adjourn.
I move we adjourn.
Second.
Call the roll. Commissioner Bloomer?
Aye.
Commissioner Mon?
Aye.
And I'll vote aye. We are adjourned. Thank you all very much for your flexibility. Thanks.
All right. Thanks for radioing me.